Hey everybody, this is a quick review of what we did last week when we talked about the elements of humor. This is from activity 5.9 in your Springboard book. So the first thing we talked about, one of the different parts of humor or the elements of humor, is when we have a comic character. This is where the character herself or himself is funny. A lot of times we use that word outlandish, also outlandish characters in a story. And these characters are funny because of the way they look, or the things they do, or the things that they say. And this here is a picture of Mrs. Doubtfire from a classic Robin Williams movie. It's a man who dresses up as a woman in order to see his children and all of the crazy stuff that he has to go through. So Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire, definitely a comic character. Another comic character, this one is from literature. Okay, this is from the Amelia Bedelia books you probably read as probably a first or a second grader. But Amelia Bedelia was a comic character, and the reason I put her in here is because we need to start seeing that there are comic characters in more than movies and TV shows. You have to be able to read something and also understand that something is being funny, or that the character is being funny. Amelia Bedelia is a perfect kind of little kid example. So the actions that Amelia Bedelia is doing right here, she's told to put the lights out, of course meaning to turn them off. But Amelia Bedelia gets everything all screwed up, and so she hangs the lights out like you would the laundry. Okay, this is Lucy from the TV show I Love Lucy. So the comic character here is Lucy. And you can see right here that there's a funny expression on her face and a funny situation that's happening that obviously makes us think that she's a comic character. The second element of humor was what we referred to as comic situations. So we had comic characters, and now we have comic situations, which of course focus on the unfamiliar or unlikely situations that take place. I believe this scene is from the TV show iCarly. I haven't seen this episode, but it definitely looks unfamiliar or unlikely. Hopefully they're trick-or-treating, but I don't know. Another comic situation, this is The Big Bang Theory. This is comic because it is taken something that we see in real life, like this Jenga game, and turned it into something that is larger than life. So definitely something funny is going to happen here as they build this this life-size Jenga game. Okay, the third element of humor is when we use comic language, or wordplay it's sometimes called. Okay, there's two kinds of ways that we talked about using comic language. One is using a one-liner, which is just a short little witty little joke, and it's usually in one sentence. So an example that I found, if at first you don't succeed, skydiving isn't for you. Okay, just a quick little joke. Alright, another one-liner here. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it into a fruit salad. Okay, so while they don't have to be hilarious sort of knee slappers, what you need to realize is that, you know, the attempt at humor is made by a writer. Okay, so the knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit. Yes, tomato is a fruit. The wisdom, so they're kind of paralleling the difference between those two words, knowledge and wisdom. Wisdom is not putting in a fruit salad because, of course, it would taste terrible. Okay, so it's a one-liner. The author is kind of attempting this sort of witty little joke here with you. The next kind of wordplay is called a pun. A pun is a joke that exploits different meanings of a word, or that they're words that sound alike but have different meanings. Okay, but for example, the one I have here, I used to have a fear of hurdles, but I got over it. So there's that double meaning of getting over something, like get over your problem or get over a fear. And also hurdles are something that need to be got over when you're competing in your athletic event. So that double meaning right there. Used to have a fear of hurdles, but I got over it. I apologize, this doesn't look very great, but it's another pun. Two peanuts were walking along the road. One was assaulted. Okay, so that's using kind of a double meaning of a word. or a different spelling of a word. Of course, the word that we're looking for is talking about if two people or two of anything were walking down a street and they were come up upon by some stranger, they could be assaulted, A-S-S-A-U-L-T-E-D, assaulted. But of course, when we're talking about a peanut, a salted peanut is different from a peanut that is not salted. Okay, so hopefully you understand the difference. The final element of humor is using comic language hyperbole. Hyperbole is that exaggerated statements that are not meant to be taken literally. We find this in a lot of different kinds of writing. Okay, you guys have alluded to the fact that you know some of those, your mother is so whatever jokes, okay? Here's one about a dog. This dog is so fat he beeps when he backs up. Okay? So obviously the dog, it's a statement that's exaggerated. Of course the dog does not beep when he backs up, but they're comparing something that is so large to a vehicle that needs to beep when it backs up to warn other people that he's coming. So it's totally exaggerated and not literal. Okay, I just like this picture here, a list of hyperboles a mile long. Of course the title of that right there is itself a hyperbole, a mile long. I ate so much I think I'm going to explode. Not literally going to explode, are you? You're just uncomfortable. Teeth were so white they blinded me. You snore louder than a freight train. The whole world was staring at me. Okay, we run into these hyperboles in our day-to-day life, and I'm sure that, you know, people say these all the time and you don't really realize that what they're doing is using hyperbole. Okay, so that was a review of our 4 different elements of humor. Now we are ready to move on.